I'm Barnaby Brown. I have a background in Scottish bagpipe music. I'm currently writing a PhD on early Scottish bagpipe music at the University of Cambridge. And I've also been working for the European Music Archeology Project, receiving reproductions of ancient aulos. Now, I'm here in Athens. I've been here for 3 days at the invitation of Christos Tertsis and the Hermes Project. Now, the Hermes Project is training 12 young people to make and play a glorious range of ancient Greek musical instruments. And the project has been funded by the Stavros Niarchos Foundation under the auspices of the Ministry of Education here in Greece and hosted by the University of Athens Department of Informatics and Telecommunications. Now, this is what it's all about, because for centuries people have been writing about ancient Greek music. Now, these are just 4 glorious books. There are libraries of material as scholars have tried to digest an amazing wealth of evidence, literary evidence and musical notation. But we also have material evidence, the instruments themselves. And I must be honest with you, it has been a huge excitement and privilege to work for the European Music Archeology Project and actually handle these instruments, because I had no idea, despite having studied music at Cambridge, I had no clue that actual instruments survive from 2,200 years ago in this case. This is early 4th century BC aulos with keys. It's got 3 keys on each instrument. And here we have an early classical aulos from Posidonia, a Greek colony in Italy. Here we have the Pydna aulos, which is late classical. Here is a Greco-Roman aulos, probably from Egypt. The original is in the Louvre. This is a flute. Now, a plagi aulos, or transverse flute, and it is from it's late Hellenistic. This is a late classical lyre, the Elgin lyre, and there are many, many more. An incredible wealth. I mean, medieval musicians don't have anything like this amount of evidence to work on. They're in the realms of fantasy, creating instruments from carvings and iconography. For ancient Greek music, we actually have hard archaeological evidence, finds from digs, and some of them, they're rescue excavations when people are building a house and the digger unearths fragments of an aulos. It's very exciting. The archaeologist comes in and they do as good a job as they can. So, I cannot say what a joy it's been to meet 12 young people serious, passionate about reproducing and playing these instruments, because 2 centuries of scholarship has given us a lot of knowledge, but it's untested. We really haven't, we're opening a new door. A new phase of research begins when we have these instruments, because we can now start testing the theories developed from very scanty and inadequate evidence. We just have little bits here and there, and the instruments themselves give us something substantial. We're really able, I think, not now, we're not yet able to play them, but over the next decade, 20 years, as more people are able to make the reeds, heavens, we've got to recover 7 generations of expertise, how to make good reeds. We're just a few years down the line. In fact, we're about 5 years down the line making reeds that are in sympathy with the ancient evidence. Now, this stands to revolutionise our understanding of music 2,500 years ago. It really is going to change things. But there are 2 sides to this coin. It's not just about ancient music. In fact, even more importantly, it's about contemporary music. because what we're doing here is we have to be composers. Yes, there may be some notation, but we don't, well, all notation requires enormous amount of cultural knowledge, what you pick up in your lifetime in order to interpret that notation. So we aren't able to ring our ancestors 2,500 years ago, and they don't have any audio recordings, so we need to be creative. And we're finding out new things. It's like a coin, it has two sides. There is the contemporary music making side, and then there is the, let's say, the historical, experimental archaeology. We're generating hypotheses. We're testing what the scholars have come up with. We're finding possibly better solutions to some of the problems, and it's a two-way process. So we present some possibilities to the scholars. They then go back to their source materials and think, and see things in a new light. And that way the research advances, we learn more about ancient music, we increase our connection, the strength of our connection with history. And we create new sounds which contemporary composers can play with and take in completely new directions. It's a very exciting time.